Just 22 years ago, people thought that it was a myth to have the internet on your cell phone. And today, smartphones are our normal. In the future, what will be our new normal? Human genetic modification is progressing towards becoming a reality. The scientific knowledge that we see evolving in regards to genetic modification should be used towards curing genetic and other types of diseases, and it should not be used to modify genetic traits such as eye color, height, intelligence, strength, and other type of genetic traits. The purpose of this speech today is to persuade the audience of the correct and the ethical ways in which we can and should use genetic modification, and also to persuade the audience that we need to have supervision over these types of experiments and this technological advance in order to prevent the misuse of genetic modification in the future. I will start off by talking about CRISPR, which is a new technological advance in science today. I will then talk about the pros and cons of CRISPR and genetic modification, and then I will talk about the necessary use that we need to have for genetic modification in the future, as well as how we will be able to use it. Let's talk a little bit about what genetic modification is and how it works. CRISPR has been developed and created to edit the DNA of living cells and also to modify and alter a living organism's genetic code. In the 1960s, scientists figured out how to mutate a plant's genetic code. In the 1970s, they figured out how to modify mice. And today there are lots of things. We have everything from super muscled pigs to featherless chickens to glow-in-the-dark zebrafish. And this is all because we keep finding new ways on how to alter the genetic code and how to change our DNA and the DNA of other living organisms. The way that CRISPR works is it uses an enzyme found in bacteria to find a specific sequence of DNA, to locate that sequence, to cut it where it needs to be modified, and to rewrite it with whatever genetic code needs to be there. Researchers have used this to edit DNA very precisely and exactly where they need it to be edited. Let's talk about the application possibilities, how we can possibly use CRISPR to change our own genetic codes. There are both pros and cons to this. There are, of course, ethical issues that go along with CRISPR, and there's also pros that we can talk about. Nowadays, it's incredibly easy and as well incredibly affordable to receive access to genome information, and because of CRISPR, it's become really simple to know exactly how to modify that information. Eventually, CRISPR can be used, probably, to cure cancer or other genetic diseases, because what it does is disables the DNA of any virus attempting to infect a cell, and so that virus will be halted. It would be unethical to stop the progress of this type of technology, because we will be able to use it to our advantage and to stop genetic diseases as well as we can use it on embryos to fight genetic diseases. And when we do that on embryos and as well on older people to fight genetic diseases as well as other diseases, then their posterity is cured of those diseases as well, because it's no longer running in their DNA. The problem that we run into with ethics is when designer babies come into the picture, or modified humans. And what this would be is people deciding what they want what gender they want their baby to be, what eye color they want their baby to have, and those types of things. And they would also be able to make their children more intelligent, taller, more athletic. All of those things would be possible by using CRISPR. More research is needed, of course, before this technology can be used very often on humans. It has already been used a few times, though. And we have to decide now if that is ethical or if it's not ethical. I believe that it is necessary to continue the progress of this technology, but we also need to be very cautious. If we ban the use of CRISPR in labs for testing and things, then it will only ensure that we will lose control. We need active government participation in these experiments so that they will be transparent, so that we can know what's going on and how they're being used. In conclusion, as you can see, genetic modification will soon be affecting all of us. It's not just going to be affecting our grandkids and our great-grandkids, but you and me right here and right now. And so I would advise you to do your own research, because it will affect you. The world is progressing and evolving in ways that we might not fully understand, but we need to be ready for change, and we need to be ready to uphold our values and be proud of the imperfections that will continue to make us unique in the future.